Bienvenue, mes amis, and welcome to another adventure in French. Today's adventure is the 5.2 vocabulary from our favorite textbook, Bien dit, Level 1. All right, let's get started. Our first word up is le centre-ville. Le centre-ville. Notice that the double L there is pronounced like an L, and le centre-ville means downtown. Right? Next. Un hôpital. Un hôpital. Notice that the H is silent and the accent circumflex above the O. And this is a very close cognate, and it means hospital. All right, number 3. Un lac. Un lac. And that is lake. All right, moving on. Un musée. Un musée. Un musée. And this is museum. Okay, what's next? Let's see. Un parc d'attractions. Un parc d'attractions. Notice we do say the C in park because C is one of the consonants we normally pronounce at the end of words. All right. What could un parc d'attractions be? Why, it's an amusement park. You might have figured that out. Coming up next, un théâtre. Un théâtre. And this word is loaded with accent marks. We have the accent aigu over the E, telling us it's the A sound. We have the accent circumflex over the A. And this also is a close cognate, and it means theater. Okay? Going on. Un zoo. Un zoo. Notice the French pronunciation. You want to say zoo, but don't say that. It's zoo. Un zoo. And I know this is a true cognate. I know you figured it out. Zoo. Okay? Let's see what's after zoo. La campagne. La campagne. All right, this is a feminine noun. We can tell from the la. All right, notice the GN here is pronounced like ny, ny, la campagne. And don't forget that beautiful nasal sound on, la campagne. And that is countryside. Okay? Now we've got une forêt. Une forêt. And don't forget, you've got the accent circumflex here above the E, and sometimes in French, not always, but sometimes in French, that accent circumflex means that this vowel was at one time followed by an S. The S was removed, but the accent circumflex serves to remind us it was once there. And if you add that S back in, why, there's no doubt what this word means. Forest. All right. Hey, we're up to number 10 already. Une maison. Une maison. And a maison is, I think, something you live in. A house. That's right. Okay. Let's see what's coming. Une mer. Une mer. All right. Now this sounds like the other mer, M-E-R-E, with the accent grave over the E, which means mother. However, this one is spelled differently, although it sounds the same. Une mer, just M-E-R, and that is sea. That's where we get the word mermaid from, a maiden of the sea, hence the M-E-R in front of that. All right? Number 12, une montagne. Une montagne. And again, we have the GN, the ny sound, and that is mountain. All right. Let's keep going. Une patinoire. Une patinoire. And what could a patinoire be? If you remember our last vocabulary, and we talked about faire du patin à glace, that might give you a clue. Une patinoire is a skating rink, specifically an ice skating rink. And hey, we've gone through a quarter of the words already. Wow. All right, let's go on to the next quarter with une plage. Une plage. And that very simply is beach. A beach. All right. Let's see what's next. We've got a verb now. Aller. Aller. Now, it looks like a regular ER verb because it ends in ER, but I'm going to warn you, it's an irregular verb. All right. The infinitive looks regular, but looks can be deceiving. All right. This is actually an irregular verb that means to go. All right. Following that, avoir faim. Avoir faim. Notice the AIM is the sound. Avoir faim. All right, and we're going to see several of these avoir expressions coming up now. You know that avoir means to have, all right, but avoir faim actually means to be hungry. So in the French way of thinking, hunger is not something that you are. Hungry is not something you are. It's something that you have. So avoir faim might be translated more literally as to have hunger. But when we translate it, of course, we're going to say to be hungry. All right. Next, avoir soif. Avoir soif. Notice the F. We get to pronounce that as a final consonant normally. All right. What could avoir soif be? Well, that is to be thirsty. All right. So the French are going to use avoir instead of to be there. It's no big deal. All right. Don't get frightened by that. It's just a little different way of thinking, but not too bad. All right. Let's see if we have another avoir expression. And we do. Avoir chaud. Avoir chaud. Notice the D is not pronounced. The A used that nice O sound. And avoir chaud means to be hot. So if you're a little warm, all right, avoir chaud. Coming up, avoir froid. Avoir froid. It's kind of a little hard to say with that F followed by the R, froid. But it is kind of fun at the same time. Avoir froid, it's an avoir expression that means to be cold. So again, for the French, cold is not something you are, it's something you have. All right. Next up, avoir sommeil. Avoir sommeil. What could that be? Let's see. To be sleepy. So again, sleepy is not something you are, it's something you have. All right, that sleepy feeling. All right, what's up next? Still another avoir expression. Avoir envie de. Avoir envie de. And I'll just tell you right now that this de is followed by an infinitive. All right, that might help you as we find out that this means to feel like. So if you want to say to feel like dancing, you would say avoir envie de danser. All right, that de is followed by an infinitive. And if you conjugate that avoir, you can say I feel like dancing. J'ai envie de danser. All right, see how easy that works. Okay, hey, we're halfway through with that. Let's continue going on. Rigoler, a regular ER verb that means to kid or to joke around. All right, next. Venir. Venir. Also an irregular verb. It means to come. Fatigué. Fatigué. Notice I have the E in the parentheses. That means that this is an adjective, and the feminine form is made by simply adding an E, and fatigué means tired. You can see the word fatigued in there. Next up, occupé. Occupé. Again, form the feminine by adding an E, and it means busy, occupied. Okay, next up, avec. Avec. A short word that means with. Okay, D'accord. D'accord. Very useful phrase. It means okay. D'accord. Quel temps fait-il? Quel temps fait-il? Literally, what weather is it making? So that probably tells you what this means. Quel temps fait-il means what's the weather like? How's the weather? And then we have some weather expressions. Il fait beau. Il fait beau. Beau, we know, means beautiful. And that means the weather is nice. So literally the French say, it makes nice, or it does nice. All right? Il fait beau. The weather's nice, or it's nice out. Next, il fait chaud. Il fait chaud. A lot of these weather expressions are going to have il fait with an adjective. All right? Il fait chaud. It's hot. It's hot out. Next, il fait froid. Il fait froid. We already know that froid means cold, so this is it's cold out, or it's cold. Il fait mauvais. Il fait mauvais. We already know that mauvais means bad, so il fait mauvais means the weather is bad, or it's bad out. Next, il pleut. Il pleut. All right? And that means it's raining. All right? Pleut. It sounds like rain, doesn't it? Next up. Il y a des nuages. Il y a des nuages. Nuage is the word for clouds. So this literally says there are some clouds, or it's cloudy. Il y a des nuages. Il y a du vent. Il y a du vent. All right, vent means wind. There is some wind, or it's windy. Next. Il y a du soleil. Il y a du soleil. Il y a du soleil. Soleil is the word for sun. So there is some sun, or it's sunny. All right. Okay, we've got past those weather expressions. Now we have this expression. Je n'ai pas le temps. Je n'ai pas le temps. All right. We know that avoir, that's have, so this is I do not have. Le temps, temps can mean weather, it can mean temperature, or it can mean time, and in this case it does mean time. I do not have the time. Je n'ai pas le temps. Means you don't have the time to do something. All right, not that you don't know what time it is. All right. We're winding down now. Qu'est-ce qu'on fait? Qu'est-ce qu'on fait? There's que, one of our interrogative words. Est-ce que, we know it's a question. On fait. The French use on sometimes when they want to say we. It's just a very casual way of saying we, but it's always conjugated in the third person. Qu'est-ce qu'on fait? Very literally, what are we doing? Qu'est-ce qu'on fait? Next up, bonne idée. Bonne idée. And that means good. That's right, good idea. Next up, pourquoi pas? Pourquoi pas? Pourquoi, we know, means why. Pas, not. Very literally, why not? Pourquoi pas? Why not? And that brings us to our last vocabulary word of the 5.2 vocabulary from Bien dit Level 1. What could it be? Ah, tu rigoles. Tu rigoles. Or this is a question, so actually it'd be tu rigoles? Tu rigoles? If you remember back, we talked about rigoler in this vocabulary, meaning to kid. So when you say tu rigoles, you're asking a question, saying, are you kidding? Tu rigoles? All right. And that does bring us to the end of the 5.2 vocabulary. Hope you've enjoyed it. Feel free to listen to this as many times as you need to. Vocabulary is so important, and I'm glad I could share this vocabulary with you in this particular adventure in French. All right, mes amis. Au revoir. À bientôt.